Welcome, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Thursday, August 21st, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5 card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are the Death card. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get to it. Death card in its upright in combination with the Hierophant. Just some light cards, just some light cards to start the day off with. Nothing too intense. Nothing too intense. Should I reshuffle? No, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Let's talk about it. All right. Okay. I gotta tell you, this energy, it feels intense. Okay. And if I had to if I have to punctuate it, and here's the thing about it, it can create, how do I explain this best? Help me explain what's happening here. All right. Let me walk you through it. We've got an energetic alignment of planets that's happening right now across Leo and Cancer. Okay. The planets are energetically lined up. Okay. And when the planets are lined up, we often see a lot of energy, moving deeper into union. There's a lot of those feelings of energetic shift. So and it's also very emotional. There's a lot of emotionality related to a lot of this space because we've got Jupiter and Venus in Cancer. And I got to tell you right now, that is operating in the space of big feelings. It's working through emotional vulnerabilities. It's working through the context of the self. Especially I need to stress this. Jupiter, like the energy surrounding Jupiter, is often the energy that we build upon in the space by which we recognize and identify our own energetic presence. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that understanding that we see with Jupiter. Venus is all about the heart space. Okay. So I like the fact that we see Jupiter and Venus that are in Cancer, because the positives of working through that is the ability of recognizing and understanding how energetically sacred we are. Right? The understanding and the identification point of working through our own energetic sacredness allows the space by which we're able to identify and recognize what it is that we're working upon, how it is that we're trying to energetically heal. Now, in the same space but also, and I got to stress this, it can create a lot of hypersensitivity. Okay? It can create a lot of hypersensitivity. And that's the thing that we have to be conscientious about. All right. We also see the fact that we've got all these planets right now in Aries that are everything in Aries right now is retrograding. Everything in Aries right now is retrograding. So that can feel like things aren't working. It's like frustration that feels like it feels like it energetically builds up. And that's why I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want you harboring anything right now. I don't want you holding back upon something. I want you to be able to communicate through something effectively. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, like this is working. This is a type of energy that we talk about. And I keep on hearing healthy conversation fortifies energetic direction. The ability to articulate upon and amplify upon things is the space by which we're able to do something in a better way. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is the culmination of a lot of those temperance relationships that we were speaking about. You'll recall that one of the things that we were talking about, the gift of working through the temperance relationship, is these are not relationships where someone carries too much energetically in relationality to sentiment. We were talking about the fact that sentiment, to a certain extent, is sediment, right? The ability of working through the sentimentality that fortifies us is the sentimentality by which we are able to express why something energetically is important to us. It's the ability to define and derive meaning upon it. So one of the things that we're seeing that's happening right now, and I'm telling you right now, this is what I meant about two different modalities in separation right now. Okay, because this is carrying through the conversation in relationality to what time can and cannot heal. Now, what is the difference between what time can and cannot heal? You'll recall we spoke about time can heal situations and circumstances wherein we are overly emotional upon something that was not important. Okay? That is the type of stuff that time can heal. Because in the space, and this is why we talk about working through and the understanding point of being able to navigate and understand the work of having a healthy energetic ego, right? Because what happens, what sometimes happens in the context of our energetic ego, when the ego becomes too inflated or becomes too big, we often becomes reactive to things that are very energetically small, right? It's that feeling of working through something that isn't a big deal, but we often bring too much energetic volatility to it. This is the type of stuff that can heal in the context of time. Because what does time bring with it? Time brings with it perspective, right? The ability to understand and recognize something in the context of identifying what one is working upon. So that adaptability point, the ability to navigate through with a sense of perspective. I'm not saying that there isn't some context here where there isn't some healing that's occurring, but that is the type of healing that we're talking about in this type of energy, not to be mistaken with the understanding, and this is what we mean in relationality, the fact that time does not heal things, which means time doesn't make things go away. Sometimes we have to bring a lot of emotionality to something because it's an energetic standard, because it's something that's energetically important, because it's something that energetically fortifies us. So what are we seeing in the modality where we recognize and identify that feeling of energetic stability? That is not, and often that's what's difficult about it. Sometimes we have to get very emotional in the context of holding a standard, right? We feel frustrated about the fact that we have to get emotional about it. But that's why the gift of time, creating perspective, it sometimes gives us even more feelings about it, right? It creates more feelings because I keep on hearing, we feel very energetically supported in the context of recognizing and identifying what that work is, which is why I'll tell you right now, the space by which I see separations that are occurring and those separations being fundamental is in the context or in the circumstance wherein an energy, one person moves away from a situation in the context of another person holding a standard upon something that they're energetically emotional upon. And this is why, if this is a space by which another person comes back to see if the emotions are gone, that's why I keep on seeing, that is not the space by which time heals something, because this is a lot of the energy that's been flourishing in the context of working on the self. The standards we hold when we're taking care of ourselves get energetically stronger. So that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, doing that work, feeling that space and feeling the fundamentality of something that is energetically important to them. If these are situations where someone's trying to come back from the past and saying, are you still emotional about that? This is the energy going, I was never emotional about it. I was fundamental about it. I was fundamental about it. It's not emotionality, it's fundamentality. So that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, that is the observation of experiencing something and feeling frustrated about it, but also feeling frustrated, but also at the same time feeling validated, right? It's almost like the observation of what can and cannot heal. This also brings us into a lot of these new relationships that are coming together right now. And that's why I keep on hearing that for a lot of these relationships, that ability of working through something and breathing a sigh of relief, right? The relief and the release of the energy. And I keep on hearing, and this is why I meant that these relationships are coming together right now. It's not just in the context of the identification point of what one is trying to do and the effort that one is trying to put forth towards it. But you'll recall that for a lot of these relationships that are doing that work, there was that anxiety point in the difference between someone articulating that what they were healing from versus embodying that directionality. And I see even now that why these relationships are coming together right now is the space by which another person is able to predicate upon it. It's the observation of being able. I see this energy being like you can almost set a watch to it. Not only did they articulate upon something that they're energetically healing from, but they may have even predicated upon the space by which they anticipated another energetically returning to them in the same fashion. And the observation or the understanding and the recognition of what one is healing from, this is fortifying the energetic direction that they're moving towards. Because I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, the identification point is the closure, right? And almost like feeling the relief in something potentially, again, the energetic past that returns often in retrograde periods, but helps us feel energetically fortified in the space of our direction. So that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, this is the culmination of a lot of those temperance relationships, because it is built upon the framework of observing what that work is. Now, this brings us to the energy moving deeper into divine union, which could be feeling a little bit energetically frustrated right now. Yeah, this is and so one of the things that we're seeing for the energy that's moving deeper into divine union, and you'll recall that we talked about this, there is a little bit of this energy that we're seeing right now that may be moving timelines forward. There's a little bit of this energy. I want to see, like, these are those magician partnerships that we spoke about that were coming together between the time that Mercury and Venus stationed direct behind Neptune up until the time that up until the time of the solstice period. Now, these relationships, what's happening right now is there's a lot of I keep on hearing they're very, very rapid. They're coming together very quickly. And I want to say that even in the context of some of the energy surrounding these partnerships, the observation of something happening or elapsing in a very quick time frame, I can see that there's a lot of the energy trying to articulate to those outside of partnership that rapidity is not being amplified due to the fact that there's something wrong, but rather that there is something right. And it could even have to feel like it's energetically frustrating because it's bringing up conversations upon the past, upon what they're healing from. Remember, we were talking about the fact that for a lot of those relationships, they're working through difficulties or hurdles as it relates to chirality. And what do we see with chirality? It's a space by which sometimes when we're like the opposition point between what is good for us versus what we're healing from, sometimes it looks the same on the outside. But this is why I see that for a lot of the energy working through the nuance of that speed is the energy that's almost articulating the fact that the speed is coming from a place of delight, not energetic desperation. This brings us to a lot of the energy deep within divine union, clarification, and the next two cards in our 5-card spread for today are 5 of Wands in its reversal in combination with our 3 of Cups in its upright. So this is interesting. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing here. Because, how do I describe this? It's surreal energy. That's the best way I can describe it. For the energy right now, deep within divine union, it just feels energetically surreal, is what I keep on seeing. And why does the energy feel surreal right now? Because you'll recall what I said in the space that this type of energy, this frustration, is driving energy in the direction of what they see is energetically supportive to the self. It's the observation and the recognition point of being able to work into the context of building into a healthy partnership. For the energy deep within divine union, you'll recall we spoke about the fact that a lot of this energy, those were those chariot relationships that were coming together around the beginning of the year. There was already stability. There was already stability. It's not helping with the stability. It's not just, it's not, you're gonna put frustration on top of stability. It's not changing the direction. And so that's why I see that for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, working through this energetically may feel very much like working through the observation of being able to, I keep on hearing becoming comprehensive. And what's interesting about comprehensive is I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, the ability to articulate to another like what your perspective is, the ability to articulate to another, like working through something. And I want to describe this right now because this is the type of energy that we're feeling. You know, this type of energy makes it really, really easy to overly focus on things that aren't energetically working. But that's why what is so healing and restorative about doing something of that nature is that when you're able to step back, what happens in the context of being able to step back? You can see the bigger picture, right? This is not like, and it's like, I keep on hearing compassion. I keep on hearing compassion is stepping back. And why do we say that compassion is stepping back? Because we've been talking a lot about the fact that passion is communicating upon what it is that why something has meaning to us, right? This is the difference between passion and compassion, because sometimes passion doesn't make sense. Okay, like sometimes passion doesn't make sense. Compassion is the passion that you can communicate upon. It's the ability to find words for something. It's the ability to articulate upon it that feels like it is energetically profound. So that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of the work of doing this, I almost feel like a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now is literally having conversations in relationality to like the difference between passion and compassion, right? Because passion confounds. Passion is often the space by which I keep on hearing when we're too passionate about something and we don't make sense. Like we're in the space of having passion, but it feels like it's exhausted. But when we are compassionate, we're able to communicate why something is so important to us. So I feel like there's something very significant that's happening right now for a lot of the energy. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, it's working together to bring compassion to things. But that's a lot of the compassion that starts with the self, right? Being compassionate to one another, being compassionate to situations, allowing that, and I keep on hearing that ability of doing so, it's when it's reciprocal, right? It becomes energetically profound. We don't get too hard on ourselves. We recognize and identify how we're navigating that works into the context of allowing for the space by which we're able to identify and recognize what that energetic work feels like. And I think, we've already got, this is amazing. Okay, so we've already got the next card coming out. And if you have the opportunity, I would definitely encourage you to take a look at our spread today when you head over to the stack, because the next card that came out, this is wild, and this is just to show you again that this is kind of the culmination of a lot of those temperance relationships that are coming together at this time. What is the card that we have right now between the Death card and the Hierophant? We've got the Temperance card in its transverse. And this is a continuation, right? This is a continuation of the culmination of understanding and recognizing the significance upon what is energetically observable in the context of time. Because what do we effectively identify and recognize that's occurring right now? I'm going to say this again. Neptune and Saturn are retrograding together right now. Okay? Those two planets have everything to do with time. Time's the memory bank, right? Everything going like look, memory bank energy. Okay? Time moving forward is change. It's energetic progress. And this is why we see that with the Temperance card in its transverse, what we recognize and identify is the observation, right? This is what we mean when we talk about the fact that time can heals things. But it's not the fact that time heals everything. Time refines things. It allows us to understand what we need to work upon versus what we're energetically healing from. So that observational point, what we're effectively seeing, and that's what I told you, like this is what I meant about these temperance relationships right now. For a lot of these, I keep on hearing, a lot of these relationships in separation have been wounded in the context of another person articulating that they were healing from someone or something, and then I keep on hearing, the minute they pop back up, they go marching back in the direction of the thing that the person that energetically hurt them, right? That is often the energetic expression of working through like I keep on hearing, that would be the articulation of a non-embodied manifestation, right? Because it's not just enough to articulate upon the desire to move towards something, but you move in accordance with it. So that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work right now, that observation, that's what I told you. These relationships right now are almost like breathing a sigh of relief, as it were, because I keep on hearing, it is the observation that they're having in building into a relationship in the context of an individual that not only articulates upon what they're healing in relationality to, but they also move in accordance to it. they also move, and the energy's going, oh goody, oh goody, oh gosh, oh gosh. You know, I can see the energy feeling very relieved upon that. At the same time, I see either energy that's in separation right now working through the same temperance lessons. And what are the temperance lessons that we see coming up right now, right? When we feel emotionality to something that is important for us, that emotionality doesn't go away. It's not going to. It's holding a standard, is what I keep on seeing. And never will you feel more audacity in the healing process. That when you work towards something and you feel the frustration in terms of having to get emotional upon something, right? And then you start to heal and you feel fortified in the fact that you recognize that there is a standard there. And then someone comes back towards you and goes, hey, are you done being emotional? That's when you look at someone and say, it was never being emotional. I was being fundamental. It's like it was being fundamental. And when we're fundamental, we get emotional about what is fundamental. And this is why we talk about the fact that the only space by which time can heal things that are emotional is when we are energetically emotional upon something that wasn't that important. It wasn't that important. And so it isn't to say that there aren't those modalities, like when we're on a healing journey, be like, yo, I owe you an apology. I was like, that was not necessary, right? We can heal. We heal with the emotions that weren't necessary. And we heal from situations that require us to become emotional because we're working through something energetically fundamental. So if you're going through that in separation, congratulations. And also, you know what I mean? Like, because I know how annoying that is. But I'll tell you right now, if you're feeling annoyed and you're not devastated, congratulations. You know, because you know, it's, and I need to point this out. When you're annoyed, there's no trauma because you can articulate upon what's bothering you so much. Is what I keep on getting. Continuing to get clarification between our Hierophant in combination with our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal. We've got here the Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. So let's talk about the energy that's moving deeper. I told you there's some energy right now moving deeper into divine union. These magician partnerships. I'm just like, I see that I've got this, like, I just keep, every time I read for them, I see things coming together very rapidly. I see I potentially see that this is a time of a lot of proposals, is what I keep on seeing. Surprise, like it's a lot of, I keep on hearing surprise. But the hard part for some of those relationships is having to articulate to another person the rapidity of something, not because there's something energetically, like I keep on hearing the energy like outside of partnership being like, why is something moving so quickly? And because the energy is almost saying to it, like I keep hearing the energy being like, is everything okay? And someone being like, more than okay. Like it's the expediency. I keep on saying it's the expediency because it feels unnecessary to energetically wait to do something, is what I keep on seeing. It's like I just keep on getting, it's like almost like that wash of relief, if you will. But I feel like a lot of that, like one of the things that we're identifying there is potentially for some of that energy feeling a little triggered as it relates to having to explain rapidness to someone in the context of moving towards something, and at the same time being able to articulate or having to work through something from the past that felt similar but wasn't necessarily energetically healthy. Right? I told you there's a lot of that energy right now working in the context of having to heal in that capacity. And it's not easy, is what I keep on seeing. It's not easy because it's the observation of what that work looks and feels like. So, and I like, and that's the thing about it. Like, I feel like it's requiring, I keep on hearing it's requiring them to have to talk about, like, work through their own sense of history. This brings us to a lot of the energy that's deep within divine union right now. Clarification between our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Five of Swords, Five of Wands in its reversal, please. We've got here the Nine of Wands in its reversal. So let's talk about this. So the Nine of Wands in its reversal, for the energy deep within divine union, I'm going to say this again. This energy can feel most frustrating because for the energy deep within divine union, that observation, remember when we talked about the fact that in both of these, like in the energy coming into divine union right now and the energy in separation moving into union, that it's fortifying the energetic direction. That's not an issue. It's not an issue. It's not an issue for energy that's deep within divine union. It's potentially, it's working through frustrations, but finding productive ways of communicating through them. And again, I'll tell you right now, I would not be surprised if there's energy right now deep within divine union that is feeling very like emotionally tender upon something, right? A lot of feelings related to the past potentially coming up right now. This is what we can expect with retrograde energy. But that, like, and that's what I keep on seeing. Like, I keep on hearing, like, what is the energy working on right now deep within divine union? A lot of this being a continuation of those chariot lessons, which is when we're pulling in the same direction and something comes up, right? Like that feeling of something coming up and seeing how easily something can be smoothed over, right? I keep on getting, it's like it's working through something, right? And then like allowing for that easement point, but then also feeling the vulnerability of recalling experiences where that was not the case, right? So even in the space of being like, oh, look how easy it was, ow. You know what I mean? Like ow. Oh no, here come the memory of when it wasn't, right? It's a lot of that kind of stuff is what we're seeing. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Three of Cups in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Six of Wands in its reversal. So what are we seeing right now with the Six of Wands in its reversal? We got a lot of reversed wand energy right now. Okay. Everybody needs to chill out. Okay. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to everybody right now because I know this energy can feel, listen, we're all feeling it. All right. It feels like a lot of intensity. It feels like a lot of pressure. Okay. And I want you to just kind of calibrate that by recognizing that everybody feels that right now. And what happens, right? Like what happens when we're feeling that? I want you to take the same lesson. I want you to take the same lesson that we had when Mercury was stationing with all the other planets. Have you tried putting a little compassion on it? Okay. Have you tried putting a little compassion on it? All right. Which is not the space. And I got to stress this. Compassion does not mean you have to be nice about everything. I'm not saying if someone else is not working through this energy with compassion for you, you don't have to be energetically nice about it. It's compassion is being able, remember, what is compassion? The ability to communicate upon what's bothering you. Communicated passion is compassion, right? So the ability to articulate upon that is how we're able to energetically heal. And that's why we say, and this is why we understand, like we've been having a lot of conversations about why being passive aggressive is so unhealthy, right? Because when we're in a healthy space, we put compassion to things. We're able to communicate upon the things that we're energetically passionate about, right? But if we're up in our feels about something and we feel silly articulating on it, then it's usually something that we need to work through internally, is what we see. It's like it helps us get a sense of direction as it relates to what it is that we're trying to do in a better way, is what I keep on seeing. So I'm kind of saying like that's like the overarching message for like a lot of the energy and relationality to navigating through this kind of cycle. And I know, like, look, I feel like there's a lot of that, especially in the proportionality of so many planets retrograding in Aries. It can create a feeling of very heightened anxiety, right? It can create the feeling of being really hard on the self. It can create a lot of frustration, potentially in relationality to time. Okay, because often Aries placements come here to heal the relationship with Saturn. But that's why we see that ability of doing so. How do we start doing that? We put the compassion towards ourself, right? Which is we understand and we work through not just the fact, and it's this continuation of what we talked about. Honoring feelings does not mean that you give your feelings to everybody at every moment. That's not honoring feelings. That's not honoring feelings. Honor means how we carry something. So when we have compassion, we carry things with honor, which is the ability to hold something and then talk about why we hold it the way that we do. It allows for the ability to fortify and articulate upon the expression of it. And this is what I meant in relationality to a lot of these relationships that are coming together right now. Clarification between our Temperance card in its transverse in combination with the Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Nine of Swords in its upright. So what do we effectively identify? And this is, look at this. For some of these relationships right now, and some of the energy in separation, this is honoring the fact that you're potentially energetically going through it. But that's the thing about it. And that's what makes it, that's what allows the context by which something can heal, right? The ability to articulate upon what feels like it's energetically devastating us or what feels like it bothers us. So I've got a couple different modalities that are happening right now in separation. I either see relationships, right? Situations and circumstances wherein if someone's healing, right? If someone's in separation healing and they're recognizing, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a small energetic proportionality here of healing that is occurring as it relates to experiences from the past. What are we seeing that the healing from the past is occurring upon? Situations where another person's emotionality was not energetically proportional to something that energetically occurred, right? Because that ability of being able to take accountability for the self is how we are effectively able to energetically heal it. It's the ability to articulate upon it. That's what we mean in terms of the fact that time has the capacity to help us heal all things, because that observation of that work allows the context by which we're able to identify and articulate what is energetically important versus what was not. But this is why, if these are energetic relationships where another person had to get emotional because there was something energetically fundamental that was occurring in relationality to their emotionality, and another person moves away from them, instead of working through that, the ability to articulate upon something, right? That modality or that experience of doing so in the proportionality towards another person coming back and said, hey, are you done being energetically emotional upon that space? This is the energy that says, no, it's not about the emotionality. It's about the fundamentality of what one was articulating emotions upon. So this is why we see that for a lot of the relationships right now, it's a reaffirmation. I told you, the reason I keep on hearing it's a rude awakening is because it's understanding that when someone is feeling emotional upon something that is energetically fundamental, and another person returns back and says, are you done being energetically fundamental about it? What they're almost saying is like, are you done having an energetic standard? Right? It's like, and that's why the energy is saying like, no, you can't heal things in the observation. Like time doesn't fix things like that. Time does not erase the emotionality upon things that we feel energetically fundamental about, because that's connected to the higher self. That's the space that says like, no, that's never okay. It's the observation or the articulation as to why something gives meaning to something. So I see even now, there's a lot of that potential healing that's coming through in having hard conversations. Simultaneously, these new relationships that are coming together right now, what is allowing for that profoundness? I keep on hearing, and even in the space of these new relationships coming together, I feel like the relief is being built upon like I see some of these relationships that were coming together, even in the context of them talking to one another about what they were healing from, there was the energetic anxiety as to what would occur if something that one was healing from was coming back from the past. But this is everything I keep on seeing here, like the release and the relief that the energy is experiencing in the understanding and the recognition of observing and building into a relationship with someone who embodies manifestations, which is not just articulating upon something, but moving in accordance to it. That's what I meant in terms of this being like the culmination of a lot of those temperance relationships. Continuing to get clarification between the Ace of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Nine of Wands in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify? Yep. These are those, listen, these are for the energy right now that is moving deeper into divine union. For the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, one of the things that we are recognizing and identifying has to do with the observation of the rapidness by which these energies are moving deeper into union. Is what I keep on seeing. For a lot of these relationships right now, the ability to articulate upon something that one feels energetically certain about while navigating energy, I keep on hearing outside of partnership, that is like feeling a little bit of that excitability given how quickly something is moving. I keep on hearing like that is the energy that is almost articulating, having to bring up the past to be able to articulate upon it, to help another person understand that the desire to move something with rapidity isn't because there's something that is energetically wrong, but rather something that is very, very energetically right. Continuing to get clarification between our Nine of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Six of Wands in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify? There's that King of Cups in its reversal. So what are we seeing right now with the King of Cups in its reversal? For a lot of the energy, how do I describe this best? For a lot of the energy that is deep within divine union right now, it's continuing It is a continuation in understanding and identifying how one, like what one feels emotionally and how one works to go about energetically expressing it, is all I keep on seeing. I keep on hearing there's something very energetically profound that I keep on seeing is happening right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union. And I keep on getting it has to do in the context, in being able to articulate upon how one emotionally feels. And that's what I keep on seeing. Remember, we talked a lot about the fact that for a lot of those energies deep within divine union, like working through past frustration, being too hard on the self, but having the observation of energy that is supportive to the self as one works through something. I keep on hearing that this is helping the energy become more comprehensive because it is the understanding and recognition of what one is trying to do in a better fashion. Right? So I keep on hearing it's the frustration that leads to energetic refinement or working through the context or the concept of finesse, right? Working through fineness. So even more of that temperance energy. So everything that we're seeing here, like, and I would not be surprised, if there's emotionality that's rising up for energy deep within divine union. I keep on getting the message that it feels like there's a healthy reason, because it's the ability to articulate upon something that is very important, is what I keep on getting. There's a lot of that. I keep on hearing there's a lot of that observation in recognizing and identifying what that work is. But I keep on feeling like a lot of that has to do with, like, there's some deep intimacy wounds that are proceeding to be healed in the context of working through that space. Continuing to get clarification between our Nine of Swords in its upright in combination with our Page of Wands in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Two of Wands in its upright. I'm going to tell you right now, for a lot of these temperance relationships that we are seeing right now, I'm just identifying that there's a lot of that work that we're working upon in relationality to being able to, now I keep on hearing these relationships right now, they're communicating upon mutual frustration. And I like this too, because it's the amplification point of how much someone cares, is what I keep on seeing. Like, there's a lot of this, I keep on feeling like for a lot of this energy right now, there's something really, really important. Remember how I said that these relationships have really strong foundations? I feel like there's a full, it's like, and that's the thing that's wild about it. This is the energy that, like, predicated to each other. They predicated to each other, like the situation upon which they were trying to heal from. And this is the energy that, like, I feel like there's something about the energy in separation that's seeing, like, they're seeing they're seeing the expanse of, like, I keep on hearing, like, they're having the observable experience of being seen, but the ability of being seen is the observation of working through something energetically together, right? And that's what's beautiful about some of these relationships, because I'll tell you right now, some of these relationships are working through the context of understanding, and I keep on hearing it's like working through I keep hearing the life-changing power of understanding that relationship is about energetic entanglement, but in the best way possible, because it's the space by which, when we are feeling invested in one another, we navigate through things energetically together. And this is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships right now that are working through that experience, the observation of circumstances or situations in the past where potentially another person, right, the context by which another person articulated a standard that they were trying to uphold, right? Or bringing emotionality to it. And another person that moves away from it being like, that sounds like a you problem, right? I keep on hearing there are no you problems in healthy partnership. There's just us problems. Is what I keep on hearing. There's no you problems. There are us problems because we're energetically working through things together. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, working in that context, there's conversations that are occurring as it relates to healthy boundaries. But what's beautiful about that, and that's what I keep on hearing, the healthy boundaries or the standards that we hold have to do with working through, I keep on hearing working through something in such a way that allows the arrival point of possibility in terms of what can be found. So that's what I keep on seeing, that for a lot, I keep on hearing for a lot of these relationships right now, I almost see the energy like breathing a sigh of relief to a certain extent, because it's the energy that is effectively observing. I keep on hearing it's the energy that's like observing the power of someone not just being able to articulate upon what they're healing from, but moving in accordance to it, right? And I feel like that's a lot of that energy. Like I told you, there's like the deepening of the partnership that's moving deeper into energetic connection for that reason. While we see even now that for a lot of the energy, moving deeper into divine union right now, those magician partnerships that we articulated upon, clarification between our page of wands in its reversal in combination with our king of cups in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our five of cups in its upright. Now what's beautiful about the thing with the energy right now, that's coming into divine union, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a very tender time for a lot of the energy that's coming into divine union, because I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, the conversation in relationality to being able to articulate upon something, the ability to articulate upon something that has energetic meaning to the self, is almost requiring one to move into a point of comparison as it relates to articulating upon the past. So do you see this? Like, this is what we're effectively identifying is occurring right now for a lot of those relationships. It is the observation, right, of healing in the space of moving something coming together with expediency, as opposed to trying to fix something by moving it together, moving it with more rapidity, right? That's what I meant in relationality to working on some healing based upon chirality. Because I keep on getting that often, I keep on hearing, often we kind of move quickly when we feel that certainty. But in some cases, we also understand that there's experiences in the past where we feel like that feeling of desperation, right? The desperation that draws us forth to try to heal something by moving something deeper into partnership. And what's beautiful about these conversations that I see is happening in a lot of these relationships is basically, I keep on hearing, it's like conversations outside of partnership explaining that this is not that, if that makes sense. While for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, that observation of, for a lot of the, I keep wondering, for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, I keep on getting it's the same identification point or the same work as it relates to, I keep on getting situations or circumstances that amplify and articulate upon the force of intention that one is trying to bring about and I keep on getting in the space of, I keep on seeing working through the past, working through old wounds, working through, I keep on hearing like working through like old sensitivities is what I keep on hearing, because I keep on seeing like this is what I meant in relationality to this type of work, because I keep on hearing like There's no old grievances when we're energetically working on healing things, because I keep on seeing it's the observation that everything is energetically solvable so long as we're able to amplify and recognize what it feels like to be energetically restorational, is all I keep on getting in these experiences. And that's what I meant about, like, for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, that observation in being able to do something and I keep on hearing, bringing a degree of compassion towards it. I keep on seeing it's like there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of, it's like I keep on getting, it's a space of a lot of heartfelt conversations. There's a lot of work that we're seeing as it relates to working through energetic sensitivities. I would not be surprised if there's, like, I keep on hearing, like meaningful conversations as it relates to working through like difficulties or hurdles, but also, like, I keep on hearing, like, giving each other restoration as, like, in terms of identifying and articulating upon something that we're trying to do in a better fashion, or how we're trying to fix something. So there's something really beautiful about that, because everything I keep on seeing for the energy deep within divine union, it feels, how do I describe it? Like I keep on seeing this. It's working through, like, I like to describe this. Sometimes, like, and this is what's hard about healing. Sometimes healing feels like you're having to clean up other people's messes, is what I keep on getting. But the thing is, like, that is the beauty, right? That's the beauty of healthy partnership. Because I keep on hearing, when we're working through our own messiness, right? Like, when we are working through our own messiness and we feel like it's a mess, another person sees us and says, I don't see it as a mess. I see you as a masterpiece. And this is something, like, this is the energy that we're doing in relationality, trying to work on something together, right? And everything I keep on seeing about that, it's like, it's heavy stuff, but I keep on hearing it's significant, because it's the observation. I keep on hearing it is the care by which we observe something and we wish that we could do it better, that allows the arrival of being able to do something in a way that feels like it's energetically excellent. Final card for today, between our Two of Wands in its upright in combination with our Five of Cups in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Swords in its upright. Now, this is interesting because you guys know me. The Queen of Swords does not like to come out a lot in my readings. Okay, it's not a big card coming. It's very similar to the Hermit card in that way. But I want to just, like, I feel like this is important. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I am going to, I wish I could say at this time that, like, the energy right now is going to ease up. The reason I keep on articulating that it's really important to feel grounded right now, or to work upon feeling grounded, is because we've got a very intense lunation cycle that's coming up. We've got eclipse season coming through. We've got an eclipse season coming through with a bunch of planets in retrograde. And you have to remember, eclipses, the reason we say that they're unpredictable is because they're just amplifiers. They just make everything feel more energetically intense. So the ability to work through, right? If you're feeling energetic tension now, it's good to kind of work through the tension as it comes, because what we want to avoid is too much of that intensity feeling like it creates that space that it feels like it is too much, or very, very heavy. So I keep on hearing, just be conscientious about it. If you feel like you need to prioritize care of the self, that's okay too, is what I keep on seeing. Like, whatever and I keep on hearing, compassion is the space that we give something to ourselves that we would eagerly reciprocate to another, right? It's the observation of giving something to the self that we would easily give to another. So allow that to help you as you're trying to make, because I keep on hearing, as you're trying to make compassionate choices right now. And I keep on hearing too, compassionate choices doesn't require one to have to be nice about everything all the time. It doesn't have to create the space of like nicety. Compassion is being able to communicate upon something that we feel very strongly about. It's allowing the context by which things can begin or things can heal. So continue to do that work. I do feel like it is having a different impact right now on masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. There's a lot of alignment that I'm seeing though in terms of like working. I keep on hearing working through something, and I keep on hearing like and this is, and I'll put it this way, okay? If you're feeling very emotional right now in this type of energy, and you're not sure if the emotionality you're feeling is a result of all of the energy that is like retrograding right now in Aries, or if it's something that is energetically important to the self, I want you to write it out. I want you to talk it out to yourself. Because again, the ability by which we are able to express what is bothering us helps us to regulate upon what it is that we would prefer to, like what it is we would prefer to occur. The ability by which we want to put our force of intention in terms of how we're working to change something versus those spaces or places where we over internalize things, right? Where we're working with too much energetic intensity that we just feel the expression of the intensity of the energy, but it's hard to kind of place the context of what it is that's bothering us. Like that is, I keep wondering, that is the differentiation point between what one is working on fixing or moving towards outside the self versus what one is working on healing or remediating within the self. Bottom of the deck on today's reading. Yeah, especially, oh, there you go. I love the fact that I said the Queen of Swords is very similar to the Hermit energy. And then here comes the Hermit energy popping up. It's, and it has to do with the fact that we've got, hold on a minute. We've got an alignment that's happening right now between Cancer and Leo. And I feel like the thing about, the thing about like Queen of Swords and Hermit energy is, I keep on hearing, it's working through the frustration of not internalizing or taking things too personally. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm trying to save you from a reading. Now is not the time to assume things, and now is not the time to take things too personally. If you're going to tell me this happens every time we go through a retrograde period, okay, you go through retrograde period, you take something personally, and then you find out, what do you find out as soon as the retrograde was going on? There was something else, right? Something else happening. Something else wasn't about you, right? Please, I'm trying to help you out here. Do not be moving through this retrograde period taking things personally. Okay? Because what happens, I've read for this way too frequently. You sit there and you take it something personally, and then you come out of the retrograde and then you feel silly. I don't want you feeling silly. Okay? I don't want you feeling silly because you were taking something personally and there was something bigger that was happening. So make sure that you're taking compassionate approaches to things, okay? I'm trying to help you out. Okay? I know it's not easy, but let that help fortify you as we move forward through this energy. It's gonna ease up. Thank you. It's gonna ease up, but we just need to kind of ride it out at the same time. Okay. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here and receiving these messages. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, remember it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Tower card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, September 17th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Star card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to as a paid monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I will be doing my best to give you an update on everything we have studied prior to beginning the class. If you wanted to catch up, though, now is a wonderful time to join because you've got several weeks to be able to bone up on any of those classes before we have our next class. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned or studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my stack, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, you will also receive a complimentary you'll also have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Archive. That's access to over 17 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You will also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. Do not let your robust experience in the tarot or your lack of experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also be notified as to my Mystic Meditation articles, which I release bi-monthly, working us through the energy we're experiencing. I'm going to be releasing one shortly on how to navigate this new moon in Virgo we've got coming up. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. Please remember, if you purchase the series, to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal to utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. That said, I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again